2018 is looking to be a colossal year for the PlayStation 4 and its single-player experiences, and in this video, we want to take a look at 10 big single-player games coming in 2018. Now, as of this recording, most of these games have been confirmed for 2018, and at the very least, they're being strongly rumored to release in 2018. You all know how it goes with video game releases, there's delays and everything like that. But as of right now, it looks like all of these games at some point in 2018 will be arriving. So with that being said, let's get right into this. Spider-Man. For a long time, we've wanted a video game to do the Spider-Man license justice, much like what Batman Arkham did for Batman. We've seen quality Spider-Man games in the past, but it's been a very long time since we've seen a really great Spider-Man game, but that should be changing in 2018. The game is dubbed just Spider-Man, and it's being developed by Insomniac Games. If you guys don't know who that are, they're one of the most talented studios in the world today. Those are the guys behind the great Ratchet & Clank games as well as the Resistance franchise. And Spider-Man is shaping up to be an amazing game. So far from what we've seen, it has looked incredible from a technical standpoint. The gameplay has looked great, although a bit too many quick-time events for my liking, but the open world modern-day New York City looks like a blast to explore, and this could be an incredible Spider-Man experience which the license really deserves. The game is expected to release sometime in the first half of 2018.
Is that a Higgs field? That's actually really cool. What's happened? Yeah.
I'm getting reports of a helicopter with a wrecking ball.
It's complicated. Turns out Martin Lee is running the demons.
The guy who
God of War. When you talk about iconic PlayStation franchise, God of War is among the top of them. The series originally began on the PlayStation 2, and ever since then it has made a big impact on every generation. The PlayStation 2 saw God of War and God of War 2. The PlayStation 3 of course saw God of War 3, as well as God of War Ascension, and by the time Ascension released, you could start to see the series was getting a bit stale. Well, expect that to change with PS4's God of War, a soft reboot of the franchise of sorts. It's moving away from the game's typical Greek mythology and into the world of Norse mythology. Kratos is back once again, but now he's very old and he has a son. And the gameplay and the direction has seen a major shift. It's a little bit more slower paced. Many have drawn comparisons to The Last of Us in terms of aesthetics, and I can definitely see that. God of War is still a huge franchise and expected to get only bigger with the release of God of War sometime early 2018.
Forgiving. No place for a boy. You must be a warrior.
But not everyone is bad. Mother always said to be open to those who can help.
Who you were before doesn't matter. This boy is not your past, he is your son. And he needs his father.
Days Gone. For a long time, we were wondering what Sony Bend Studio was working on. Those are the guys behind the Siphon Filter games, and they worked on some other titles as well, such as Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PlayStation Vita. The game that they have been working on was revealed to be Days Gone, a post-apocalyptic action-adventure survival horror game. It's set in an open-world environment, and you play as Deacon St. John, a drifter and former bounty hunter who prefers to live a dangerous life on the road over living in the wilderness encampment. The game itself takes place 2 years after a global pandemic occurred which killed almost all of humanity and transformed millions of others into freakers, mindless zombie-like creatures that are quickly evolving. The premise isn't the most creative thing in the world. We've seen games like this before with titles such as Dead Rising, but Days Gone seems to have more of an emphasis on its narrative, and it can be something great. Sony Bend is an incredibly talented studio, so Days Gone has a lot of potential. Hopefully it delivers, and hopefully it releases sometime in 2018, which has been strongly hinted at.
Hell yeah. Come and get it. Dinner time.
Drop him! Now! Or I'll kill him!
Do it. I'm not here for him. I'm here for you.
Detroit Become Human. Quantic Dream and David Cage are very polarizing. Some people absolutely adore their game, and others stray away from the experiences that they offer. I think most gamers would agree in saying that Heavy Rain was amazing, but then they have other titles such as Beyond Two Souls that were far more polarizing, and now we have their latest game, Detroit Become Human, a neo-noir thriller that revolves around 3 androids. It's once again going to feature a similar gameplay style in that it doesn't have a lot of gameplay, but it will revolve around a lot of decision making, and the decisions that you make are going to greatly impact the storytelling. The characters throughout the game can die and the story continues without them. There's no game over message, it's just going to continue and continue until you come to a conclusive ending. And obviously that lends to the game having a lot of replay value depending on what decisions you want to make the second go around. Detroit Become Human is a very ambitious game. It's another game that has a lot of potential to be very polarizing, but nonetheless it'll be very exciting to see it hit the PlayStation 4 sometime in 2018.
Reports that hundreds of androids have been stolen from CyberLife stores.
Property was damaged and fires continue to rage in several major districts across the city.
Some people are asking, have androids become a threat to our security?
They're coming.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance is being developed by Warhorse Studios, and it's an action RPG set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia, an imperial state of the Holy Roman Empire. It has a focus on historically accurate and realistic content, and it's running on the CryEngine, so expect it to look pretty good. It's a single-player experience with branching questlines and a highly interactive world encouraging emergent gameplay. And all of the equipment you see in the game will obviously be very period accurate. From the armors, clothings, combat techniques, and real-world castles, it's all recreated with the assistance of architects and historians. The game itself also utilizes a classless RPG system, allowing you to customize your character and skills exactly the way you want to. Kingdom Come Deliverance release is almost here. It comes February 13, 2018.
Sons, I'll make those smiles off your faces!
Look me in the eye. If you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth and not your fists.
Henry, help us!
Help us, son. Don't be a coward. If Sigismund attacks, they can't hold.
We have to prepare for the worst.
You spend all your days drinking and chasing wenches. What kind of fool are you, boy?
Metro Exodus. Metro has been one of the great single-player first-person shooter series, although there aren't too many of those. Usually if a game's a first-person shooter, it's gonna incorporate a deep multiplayer component as well, but Metro is solely single-player and it works better that way. Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light were incredibly atmospheric experiences with great characters and great storytelling. Metro Exodus is the latest in the franchise, and it's once again a first-person shooter with survival horror and stealth elements. It's set in the post-apocalyptic wasteland of the former Russian Federation, and you need to cope with the new hazards and engage in combat against mutated creatures as well as hostile humans. It looks like the game will be a lot more open than previous Metro games. It also includes a dynamic weather system, a day and night cycle, and environments that change along with the seasons as the story progresses. The whole game takes place over the course of a calendar year. If you're a fan of the former 2 Metro games, Metro Exodus is going to be right up your alley. It looks like it's building upon those 2 games greatly, and if you have yet to play those 2 games, you should definitely check out the Metro Redo Collection. They are fantastic games, and both are available on the PlayStation 4 in one collection. Metro Exodus is set for a release sometime in 2018. Code Vein. Code Vein is an action RPG being developed and published by Bandai Namco. It's set in a post-apocalyptic dystopia with vampire themes including gifts from the consumption of blood and other supernatural abilities. Much like a lot of RPGs these days, it's an open-world experience, and so far from the footage we've seen, it does have some very interesting themes and the gameplay looks really solid. Bandai Namco has a tendency to make really good games but never excellent games. Code Vein has potential to be an excellent game. It's running on the Unreal Engine 4, it's got a unique premise, it looks really good, hopefully it lives up to its potential when it releases in 2018.
ボスもですね、攻撃力が非常に高くなってます。で、やはりボスもですね、このバディとやばいこの3連バディとともに2人で戦っていくことが非常に重要になります。くっそ。これちょっと1人はきついですね。危ない危ない危ない危ない危ない。あ、でもいい感じにおとりになってくれてはいます。はい。さあチャンスチャンス。これはすごいな。まあきちんとですね、この敵の動きをちゃんと見てですね、攻撃を読むことと、あとやはり。
Darksiders 3. Darksiders is finally back with Darksiders 3, which is the latest in the franchise being developed by Gunfire Games and published by THQ Nordic. It's the sequel to Darksiders 2 and the third entry in the franchise. This time around, you take control of Fury, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and Fury is a mage who is described as the most unpredictable and enigmatic of the four horsemen. While this is Darksiders 3, it takes place parallel to the events of the previous games, and after the long absence from the last two games, you know they want to make it as accessible as possible to newcomers. Darksiders 3 is set for a release sometime in 2018.
You are seven, and you but one.
With pleasure.
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. Ni no Kuni was one of the best JRPGs on the PlayStation 3, arguably the best. We've been wanting a sequel for a while, and Level 5 and Bandai Namco are delivering with Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. In the sequel, you control a young king who is usurped from his castle and sets out to reclaim his kingdom. What you can expect out of the sequel is the same great gameplay, awesome art style, great music, and great storytelling. Battles take place on an open battlefield, allowing players to freely roam around the area. During battles, you command a single human ally. All characters are manually moved around the battlefield. Expect Ni no Kuni 2 to be one of the best JRPGs of this generation. It was originally set for a 2017 release. Unfortunately, it was delayed, but you won't have to wait too long into 2018. It's set for a release on January 19th.
It's nothing personal. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Here it is, Evan.
My dearest friend.
Evan.
And finally, Kingdom Hearts 3. Speaking of games that have potential to be great JRPGs and one of the best of this generation, Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely one of them. We've been waiting ever since the release of Kingdom Hearts 2 for a proper third entry to the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Yes, we saw some spin-off titles, and even Dream Drop Distance was a continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2, but now we've got a legitimate third entry with Kingdom Hearts 3, and it is looking phenomenal. It is running on the Unreal Engine 4, and so far the footage has looked phenomenal. The gameplay is similar to its predecessor, but it looks as fun, fast, and fluid as ever. This is Square Enix, so whenever they set a release window, you can't really take it for gospel. I mean, Final Fantasy 15, how long were we waiting for that game? But it looks like there is a reasonably high chance that Kingdom Hearts 3 will finally be released in 2018. Fingers crossed, it's about time we got our hands on it. So that wraps up 10 amazing single-player games coming to the PlayStation 4 in 2018. Let us know what you think. What games are you the most excited for? Did we miss out on a single-player game? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.